have never approached anyone and said, I want you to be my local partner. I invite interesting people around what I do. And when they're around, you listen to them, you hear them talk. And when people are excited about what you do, they will come closer to you. You let those people sort of, gravitate around you, around your idea, around your passion.
Went to the Africa Private Equity panel, and I loved it. Private equity is capital that is not noted on a public exchange. Private equity is composed of funds and investors that directly invest in private companies. And this video is going to profile two Americans, Jordan and Andrea, who relocated to Africa to start their business.
And Africa is all about persistence. Whether you are African or not, the continent is about sustained persistence.
Andrea Pizziconi. I founded Africa Integras and the Christie Company, and we invest in education infrastructure.
Many of you want to invest in Africa because you have a connection to the continent. You grew up there, or your family grew up there. What you really need to ask yourself is, do you have the heart? Because it is extremely hard. It is extremely hard, especially if you want to be an entrepreneur, especially if you want to build a company in Africa. You've got to go, blood, sweat, and tears is that's just the first chapter.
Whatever amount of time that they think it will take to start their business and make it sustainable, multiply it times 3. Minimum 3. So when they think about burning cash in the beginning, because everybody burns too much cash in that first year, really preserve cash. Because you're going to need it. You're going to need it right before your deal closes, when your eyes are popping out of your head and you think, I don't have enough burn to get me through the next month. I'm going to go under, but I'm just about to have the deal of my dreams close. And you're going to wish that you hadn't spent all that money that first month impressing your friends that you were an entrepreneur with the fancy office and whatnot. So hold on to your cash as best you can until you've got your closed deal.
What makes deals come together or not is, how good is your emotional intelligence? How well do you know when your counterparty has had enough? When they've been offended? Do you have the humility to apologize when you have offended them? Or are you going to let the whole deal fall apart? Do you know when they feel vulnerable? Are you going to prey on that vulnerability, or are you going to build them up to build trust? These are the intangible factors that get deals done. The most important thing about local culture is saving face. You must allow your counterparty to save face. If you make them lose their face, you might as well save the rest of your money, because you're not going to close that deal. And if you do ever, even if you're in the right, if they lose face, it is incumbent upon you to apologize and find a way for them to regain their face, because you are investing in their country.
My name is Jordan Grant. I started my business, Nebraska Partners, in 2008. What we do is we actually fund infrastructure in the oil and gas / power space. Got my start funding a pipeline for an indigenous oil and gas company.
What is your advice for the African diaspora, in particular about intellectual property?
Okay. The question came up during the earlier panel that IP is something that people were nervous about. They didn't want people to take their ideas and implement them and benefit without them benefiting.
Contracts are important, but it is my view, as maybe where I was coming from, that my contracts wouldn't be enforceable. Because in order to have that, you have to have a strict rule of law. And in many places I've been, that just doesn't exist. And I don't view the spaces in which we work as spaces in which we can enforce contracts in the way that people are accustomed to enforcing them here.
There's not a really good legal way to protect IP. But what I found is that people come up with ideas all the time. What's really difficult is to execute an idea well. So your best protection is to be the expert, the individual or the group that can actually execute that idea better than anyone else.
You have to figure out what you're good at, and then figure out how you can do what you're good at. You have to figure out what your competitive advantage is, and then figure out where you can utilize it.
All the panelists have seemed to narrow in and zoom in on the idea that you have to have good partners on the ground. How do you get good partners on the ground?
I have a relative who managed money in Africa way before I did. I met one of his partners when I was still in college. And we were sitting together, and I spoke to him, and I said, so you're going to do business with my cousin? And he said, no, we're going to become friends first. He said, then maybe we'll do business later. And that's how you develop local partners. It's not efficient, but I think it's the best way to do it. You really have to know people. You have to be wound into their social fabric to have some kind of protection.
Before you benefit. They can't eat before you eat.